AC/DC, the legendary hard rock band that earned a place in the Rock Hall of Fame through sheer power, uncompromising riffs, and unforgettable anthems. Their story is an epic tale of triumphs, tragedies, and timeless rock music. In this comprehensive look back at AC/DC's history, we'll explore the band's origins, their rise to the top of the charts, legendary concerts, their members, and much more. AC/DC's story begins in Australia in 1973, when brothers Malcolm and Angus Young had the idea to form a band that would bring back uncompromising rock and roll in its purest form. Their family already had a musical background, as their older brother George Young was a member of the successful Australian band The Easy Beats and later became a producer. Inspired by the energy and attitude of 1950s and 1960s rock, Malcolm and Angus decided to form their own band and develop a distinctive sound that focused on raw energy and powerful guitar riffs. The band name AC/DC was inspired by the electrical abbreviation for alternating current/direct current, which the brothers saw on the back of a household appliance. The name was meant to symbolize the energy and power the band would unleash in their music. By 1974, the first members of AC/DC were assembled, including bassist Larry Van Crite, drummer Colin Burgess, and singer Dave Evans. However, it didn't take long for the band to undergo some personnel changes, setting the foundation for their long-lasting success. One of the most pivotal moments in AC/DC's early history was the arrival of Bon Scott in 1974 as the new frontman. The Scottish-born singer, who had moved to Australia with his family as a child, brought not only a distinctive voice but also the rebellious, wild energy AC/DC needed to stand out from other bands. Bon Scott was no stranger to the Australian music scene, having sung in other bands, but his connection with AC/DC proved to be magical. With Scott on the mic, AC/DC recorded their debut album High Voltage, released in Australia in 1975. This album set the tone for the next few years, energetic, raw songs, delivering simple but powerful messages. While the album initially found success only in Australia, it laid the groundwork for the band's international breakthrough. More albums followed, such as T.N.T. 1975, and Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, 1976, which were huge hits in Australia and attracted the attention of international record labels. In 1976, AC/DC signed with Atlantic Records and launched their international assault with the release of a revised version of High Voltage for the global market. The band moved to the UK and began touring Europe and the USA. Their electrifying live performances and Bon Scott's charismatic stage presence quickly earned them a loyal fanbase. In 1977, the band released Let There Be Rock, which is regarded as one of the most important albums in hard rock history. The title track became a rock anthem and showcased the band's growing maturity in songwriting and performance. Bon Scott was solidifying his role as the charismatic frontman, while the Young brothers emerged as one of the toughest and best guitar duos in rock. The band was rapidly gaining cult status, but their greatest success was yet to come. In 1979, AC/DC achieved their biggest success yet with the album Highway to Hell. Produced by Mutt Lange, the album was praised for its cleaner production and sharp songwriting, while still preserving the band's raw energy. The title track Highway to Hell remains one of the most iconic rock anthems to this day, and it propelled the band into the international charts. Highway to Hell was the first AC/DC album to enter the top 20 in the US, solidifying their breakthrough in America. With their high-energy live shows, where Angus Young would always perform in his school uniform costume, spinning across the stage, the band earned a legendary reputation. However, tragedy struck just months after the album's success. On February 19, 1980, Bon Scott was found dead in a car in London. The official cause of death was alcohol poisoning, shocking the rock and roll world. Scott's death was a massive blow to AC/DC, and many thought it would be the end of the band, as Scott was seen as the soul of AC/DC. Yet, the Young brothers and the remaining band members decided to press on, partly because they believed Scott would have wanted them to. They began the search for a new lead singer and soon found Brian Johnson, the former vocalist of the British band Geordie. Johnson had a similar raw voice to Scott but brought his own energy and personality to the table. The first album AC/DC recorded after Bon Scott's death would become one of the most successful albums of all time. Back in Black, released in 1980, was a tribute to the late singer and a monumental achievement. The album sold over 50 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums in music history. With iconic songs like Hell's Bells, You Shook Me All Night Long, and the title track Back in Black, the band took the world by storm. AC/DC managed to perfect their sound without straying from their roots. Their collaboration with producer Mutt Lange, who had also worked on Highway to Hell, was once again a key factor, as he elevated the band's sound to new heights. The Back in Black tour became one of the most successful concert tours in the band's history and cemented AC/DC's reputation as one of the greatest live bands ever. To this day, Back in Black is considered a masterpiece of hard rock and propelled AC/DC into rock royalty. Following the monumental success of Back in Black, AC/DC released For Those About to Rock, We Salute You in 1981, which was also a huge success. The title track, featuring thundering cannon blasts, became a staple of their live performances. The album reached number 1 in the US, further solidifying AC/DC's immense status in the music scene. The subsequent years brought more albums like Flick of the Switch, 1983, Fly on the Wall, 1985, and Blow Up Your Video, 1988, which were solid successes but didn't quite reach the monumental heights of Back in Black. However, the band continued to tour relentlessly, building their loyal fanbase even more. As the 1990s began, AC/DC proved that after 2 decades, they were still at the top of the rock world. In 1990, they released The Razor's Edge, which became another major highlight of their career. The single Thunderstruck became a global hit and remains one of the band's most recognizable songs. The album reached the top 10 in numerous countries, reaffirming AC/DC's status as one of the most consistent and beloved rock bands in the world. The ensuing Razor's Edge tour was a massive success, with sold-out shows worldwide. AC/DC had solidified their reputation as a relentless touring machine, delivering stellar performances at every concert. Throughout their long career, AC/DC has sold over 200 million albums worldwide, making them one of the best-selling bands in music history. Back in Black alone has sold over 50 million copies, making it one of the top-selling albums of all time. Their albums like Highway to Hell, The Razor's Edge, and For Those About to Rock are additional milestones in rock history.